Hey guys, imagine this. You wake up in the morning, sunlight barely sneaking through the curtains. Your hand hasn't even left the pillow, and yet it already knows where to reach. Not for water, not for a book, not for the breath of a quiet morning. No, it reaches for your smartphone. You unlock it, and within seconds, your mind is hijacked by emails, by notifications, by that endless scroll that doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your peace, doesn't care about your purpose. And the worst part, you don't even notice, because that tiny device has become the master of your attention. Or, now picture this. You're at dinner with your family, people you say you love most. The food is warm, the laughter is alive, but half your face is lit not by candlelight, not by smiles, but by the cold glow of a screen. You're there, but you're not really there. You're somewhere else, lost in someone's vacation photos, someone's rant, someone's highlight reel. And your child, your partner, your friend, they feel it. You've left the table without ever leaving your seat. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." If he were alive today, he would point directly at that little black rectangle in your hand and say, "This is where your life is leaking out." But here's the good news: the Stoics didn't just diagnose problems. They gave us tools, timeless strategies, ways to reclaim control. And tonight, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to uncover 9 Stoic lessons, 9 rules that Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius would hand you if they saw how your smartphone was quietly draining your focus, your energy, your very life. So, let's begin this journey, not as a rant against technology, but as a reminder that you are meant to be the master of your tools, not their slave. Stay with me until the end, because if you absorb even one of these Stoic lessons and apply it tomorrow morning, you will feel the difference. A calmer mind, a sharper focus, a life where you are no longer pulled by every vibration in your pocket, but guided by your own reason, your own values, your own will. Part 1. Attention is the new wealth. Seneca didn't have a smartphone. He didn't have TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube Shorts. But he understood something that makes him more relevant now than ever. Wealth isn't measured in gold or silver. It's measured in attention. Think about it. What's the most valuable thing you possess? It's not your car, not your job title, not even your bank account. It's the 24 hours you are given each day. Your attention is the currency that fuels every experience, every relationship, every act of creation. And yet, most people give it away as if it were worthless, scattered across endless feeds, endless scrolls, endless distractions. Picture this: a young man named Daniel. He wants to write a novel. He has ideas, passion, even a quiet room in his apartment. But every 10 minutes, his phone buzzes, a meme, a group chat, a news alert. And so, his mind never descends into the deep waters of creation. It skips along the surface, always shallow, always distracted. Years pass. His dream novel never leaves his head. He didn't fail because he lacked talent. He failed because his attention was stolen, one notification at a time. Seneca wrote in his essay on the shortness of life, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, But as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. He's saying you lock your doors at night, you protect your wallet, you guard your car keys, yet you hand over your attention to strangers on the internet without a second thought. Let's bring this into today's world. Tech companies don't want your money, at least not directly. They want your eyes, your time, your clicks. Because if they control your attention, they control your behavior. And if they control your behavior, they control everything else. Psychologists call this the attention economy. You are the product, not the customer. The more distracted you are, the richer they become. And the more fractured your mind becomes, the poorer you become, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Here's the Stoic lesson. Guard your attention as you would guard your life, because in truth, they are the same thing. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If you knew your time was short, would you waste an hour on doom scrolling? Would you trade a sunset for a screen glow? Would you swap the laughter of a loved one for the shallow chuckle of a meme? Hold on a second. Let's get practical. How do you actually reclaim your attention in a world designed to steal it? Start small. Seneca believed in deliberate self-denial, not because discomfort is fun, but because it strengthens the soul. Try this. Set aside 1 hour a day where your phone is in another room. Let yourself feel the itch, the pull, the panic. Notice it, then smile at it. Because every moment you resist, you remind yourself, I am the master, not the slave. Another step. Turn off notifications that don't serve your purpose. Seneca would ask, does this message make me wiser? Does this ping bring me peace? If not, it doesn't deserve a slice of your life. And here's a deeper challenge. Once a week, pick one activity to do without your phone. A walk, a workout, a meal with friends. Pay attention to how it feels. At first, you might feel naked, anxious, even bored. But then, presence returns. You hear the sound of your own breath. You notice the color of the sky. You actually taste your food. This is wealth, not the fake wealth of virtual likes or follower counts, but the real wealth of undivided attention, the wealth of being fully alive in this moment. If Seneca were here, he would look at us with pity and say, you are not short of time. You are short of focus. And he would remind us that to live a rich life, you don't need more years. You need more presence in the years you already have. So here's your first Stoic rule. Protect your attention as your most precious possession. Without it, you are poor. No matter your bank account, with it, you are wealthy. No matter how much money you have. And it all begins with this question, who owns your attention? Your phone or you? Part 2. Addiction to the scroll. Why pleasure without purpose destroys you. There's a strange silence that happens when you put your phone down. At first, it feels empty, awkward, like you're missing something. You glance at the screen, thinking maybe, just maybe, something happened in the last 30 seconds that could change your life. But of course, nothing did. That urge you feel, that itch in your hand, that's not a signal of need. That's addiction. And Seneca would have recognized it immediately. Not as a technology problem, but as a timeless human weakness, our tendency to drown ourselves in pleasure without purpose. Seneca once said, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." He meant that it isn't hardship that destroys us. It's the endless pursuit of comfort, distraction, and indulgence. And what is the smartphone if not a pocket-sized dispenser of comfort, a slot machine for your attention, a sugar hit for your mind? Picture Sarah. She works a stressful job in marketing. Every time the pressure rises, she pulls out her phone, scrolls through TikTok, and loses herself in videos of cats dancing or influencers ranting about relationships. For a few minutes, she feels relief. But when she looks up, the work is still there. The stress is still there. And worse. Now she feels guilty for wasting time. That's not relief. It's a cycle of escape, distraction, and emptiness. Modern psychology has a name for this dopamine loops. Every scroll, every notification, every little red badge is designed to hit your brain with a chemical reward. But like any drug, it wears off. And so, you reach for another hit and another, until hours vanish. And you wonder, what did I just do with my life? Seneca would shake his head and say, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." By scattering your attention across endless trivialities, you miss the richness of the one place you actually are here, now. But here's the paradox. Pleasure itself isn't bad. The Stoics weren't monks trying to erase joy from life. What they warned against was pleasure without purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste the rest of your life in thoughts about others." When you do not refer your thoughts to some object of common utility. In other words, if what you're consuming isn't helping you grow, isn't aligned with your values, then it is wasting you. Let's be brutally honest. Most of what we consume on our phones doesn't build us up. It hollows us out. We laugh, we smirk, we click. But when it's over, we're not wiser, not stronger, not closer to the person we want to be. We're just emptier. Think of the difference between eating fast food and eating a nourishing meal. Fast food fills you for a moment, but it leaves your body sluggish and craving more. A real meal sustains you, fuels you, strengthens you. The same is true for your mind. The endless scroll is mental fast food, cheap, addictive, and hollow. A book, a thoughtful video, a deep conversation, that's nourishment. That's purpose. So, what's the Stoic solution? How do we break free from the cycle? First, we must recognize that pleasure is not the enemy, but the master we must tame. Epictetus told his students, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom doesn't mean deleting every app, throwing your phone into the ocean, or living in a cave. It means using pleasure consciously, choosing it, not being chosen by it. Practical step. Before you open an app, pause. Ask, why am I opening this if the answer is boredom, loneliness, or escape? Stop. Breathe. Do something else that actually fills you. Go for a walk. Write in a journal. Call a friend. Train your mind to see the difference between a true choice and a reflex. Second, practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics loved this. Seneca advised, set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Translated to today. Take a scroll fast, one evening a week. Put your phone in a drawer for 3 hours. Sit with the discomfort. Feel the itch and realize you survive. More than that, you feel free. You realize you don't need the endless scroll to live. You never did. Finally, replace empty pleasure with purposeful joy. Fill the space your phone once occupied with something richer. Read a Stoic text. Learn a skill. Sit in silence. You'll find that true pleasure, joy rooted in growth and presence, lasts longer and cuts deeper than anything your screen can offer. Think back to Sarah, our marketer drowning in TikTok. One day, she decided to replace 30 minutes of scrolling with writing a page in her journal. At first, it felt awkward, but soon, she noticed her thoughts sharpening, her stress decreasing. Her evenings no longer felt wasted, they felt meaningful. She wasn't escaping her life anymore. She was engaging with it. This is the heart of the Stoic teaching: pleasure without purpose is slavery, but pleasure aligned with virtue is freedom. So let me ask you, what would Seneca say to you right now? With that phone in your hand, he would smile, perhaps sadly, and whisper, "You're better than this. Do not sell your soul for such cheap rewards. Save your joy for what is worthy of you." Here's your second Stoic rule. Break the addiction to the scroll. Pleasure must serve your purpose, not replace it. When you apply this, you don't just save time, you save yourself. You rediscover the power of choosing your life, instead of numbing it away. Part 3. Comparison and envy. How smartphones poison the soul. There's an old story about a dinner in Rome. Wealthy senators would arrive draped in purple robes, carried in on litters, flaunting their riches. The poor sat in the shadows, watching, measuring themselves against the glittering parade. Jealousy was born not because they lacked food or safety, but because they could see what others had. Now fast forward 2,000 years. The parade has moved onto your smartphone. It's not purple robes anymore. It's curated vacations, six-pack abs, highlight reels of perfect lives. And every time you scroll, you're seated in the shadows again, watching, comparing, envying. Seneca would look at this and sigh. It is the mind that makes us rich or poor. In other words, wealth isn't about what you have. It's about how you see what you have. But the smartphone is engineered to do the opposite, to make you forget your blessings, to make you measure your life against illusions. Think about it. You wake up in your modest apartment, sipping your morning coffee. Then you open Instagram, and suddenly your coffee feels cheap compared to the influencer's $9 latte in Paris. Your clothes feel old next to someone's designer haul. Your weekend feels dull next to someone's yacht party. Did anything actually change in your life? No. Your coffee still warms you. Your clothes still fit. Your weekend still holds potential for joy. But your perception was poisoned by comparison. And in that moment, you were robbed, not of possessions, but of contentment. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. We define ourselves by measuring against others. But here's the twist on social media. You're comparing your messy reality to someone else's polished highlight reel. You're stacking your behind the scenes against their best performance. It's a rigged game. Seneca warned. He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver, but he is equally great who uses silver as if it were earthenware. What does that mean for us? It means greatness lies not in what's on your table, but in how you perceive it. Contentment is a skill. Gratitude is wealth. Let me tell you about James. He's a high school teacher. Every night after grading papers, he scrolls through Facebook and sees his old classmates posting pictures of vacations, promotions, luxury cars. He feels a knot in his chest. I should have done more with my life. One day, in frustration, he deletes the app. At first, he feels isolated, but slowly, he notices something. He enjoys his evening walks more. His dinners taste better. His laughter with his wife feels richer. Nothing in his life changed, except the poison of constant comparison was gone. Marcus Aurelius gave us a prescription for this sickness. He wrote, "Don't set your mind on things you don't possess. Instead, count the blessings you do have, and think how much you would crave them if they weren't yours." Imagine looking at your phone not to see what others have, but to remember what you'd miss if it were gone. Imagine flipping envy into gratitude every time it arises. That's Stoic alchemy, turning poison into medicine. But let's be real, it's not easy. Social media is designed to trigger envy. Every algorithm knows envy keeps you scrolling. So what's the Stoic strategy here? Step 1. Limit your exposure. Just as you wouldn't sit in a smoky room if you wanted fresh lungs, you shouldn't linger in toxic feeds if you want a clear mind. Curate what you consume. Follow fewer people. Unfollow those who only spark envy. Make your feed align with your values, not your insecurities. Step 2. Reframe what you see. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst to prepare the soul. When you see someone's perfect post, remind yourself, I am not seeing their struggles, their pain, their sleepless nights. I am seeing a mask. This shifts your perspective. Instead of envy, you see illusion. Step 3. Practice radical gratitude. Each time envy arises, counter it by naming 3 things you already have that you would grieve if lost. Health, a roof, a friend, a laugh. Gratitude snaps envy's neck. And here's a challenge. For 1 week, every time you catch yourself comparing, write it down. Then, next to it, write a Stoic truth. Example, I envy her promotion, but a title cannot give peace of mind. Peace comes from virtue, not position. Over time, this practice rewires your envy into wisdom. The Stoics believed that envy is slavery. Why? Because it hands your happiness over to others. If their success makes you bitter, then your peace belongs to them, not you. Seneca said, "No man is free who is a slave to the opinion of others." And isn't that exactly what envy is? A desperate measuring of your worth against their applause. Let's flip it. Imagine using your phone not to compare, but to connect. Not to envy, but to learn. Imagine opening your screen and saying, I will only consume what makes me better, wiser, calmer. That's not slavery, that's mastery. Here's the truth. Your smartphone is not evil, but unchecked, it amplifies one of humanity's oldest poisons, envy. And unless you fight back with Stoic discipline, it will eat away at your soul. So here's your 3rd Stoic rule. Comparison is poison. Gratitude is the antidote. If you must scroll, scroll with eyes of gratitude, not envy. And remember Marcus's reminder. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Think about that the next time you're tempted to measure your morning coffee against a stranger's yacht. Your life is yours. Don't let envy steal it. Part 4. The illusion of connection. How smartphones make us lonelier. Picture this. You're in a room with 10 friends. The laughter is loud, the food is warm, the moment is alive. But then, one person pulls out their phone, another follows. Soon, half the table is staring downward, each trapped in their own glowing square. The room hasn't emptied, but the spirit has. The connection that was flesh and blood just a moment ago has dissolved into digital fragments. Seneca, observing this from the corner, would raise an eyebrow and say, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." What would he see here? Not true association, but a cheap imitation of it. Not souls meeting souls, but shadows passing shadows. The irony of our age is this: never before have we been so connected, yet never before have so many felt lonely. You can send a message across the globe in seconds, but struggle to maintain eye contact with the person across the table. You can rack up hundreds of likes, but still feel unseen. Smartphones give us the illusion of connection while eroding the substance of it. Take Emma, a college student. She has 2,000 followers on Instagram, a buzzing group chat, constant notifications. On paper, she's surrounded by people, but late at night, lying in bed, she feels profoundly alone. Why? Because what she receives in pings and emojis isn't presence. It's performance. It's noise without depth. The Stoics understood this paradox long before it had a screen. Seneca warned you must linger among a limited number of master thinkers and digest their works, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind. He was telling us depth matters more than breadth. One true friend who strengthens your character is worth more than 1,000 shallow acquaintances. Smartphones flip this truth. They seduce us with numbers, likes, followers, shares, while starving us of depth. They whisper you are connected, while leaving us starved for genuine intimacy. Psychologists now call this social snacking. Just like eating chips instead of a meal, we snack on shallow interactions, comments, emojis, short texts. They give the taste of connection but not the nourishment. And like junk food, they leave us emptier the more we consume. But here's the Stoic insight: connection isn't about how many people you can reach. It's about how deeply you can be with a few right people. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." He didn't say likes. He didn't say followers. He said presence. So how do we reclaim real connection in the smartphone era? Step 1. Be fully present with the people you choose. The next time you sit down with a friend, try this experiment. Put your phone face down, or better, away. Look them in the eyes. Notice their pauses, their gestures, the weight of their words. That is connection. That is what nourishes the soul. Step 2. Redefine friend. Ask yourself who among your contacts would come to you in an hour of need, who makes you better when you talk, who challenges you with truth instead of flattering you with emojis. Those are your true friends. Invest in them. Prune the rest. Step 3. Replace shallow digital habits with deep analog ones. Write a letter. Share a meal. Take a walk without documenting it. You'll find these moments carry more weight than 100 text threads. Why? Because they engage the whole human being, not just the thumbs. Let's circle back to Emma, our college student drowning in digital friends. One semester, she joined a local book club. At first, It felt awkward. Real faces, real silences, no filters. But slowly, she discovered something her phone never gave her: a sense of belonging. A place where people listened, not scrolled. A place where she was valued not for her highlight reel, but for her honest thoughts. For the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. This is what smartphones rob from us. Not contact, but communion. Not reach, but roots. And it explains why so many feel lonely in a crowded feed. Because what we crave is not attention. It's understanding. Not numbers, but souls. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Notice that last word, to love. Real love requires presence. Real friendship requires time. Real connection requires depth. And none of those can be outsourced to a smartphone. So here's the Stoic rule. Don't settle for the illusion of connection. Seek the reality of it. Choose depth over breadth. Choose presence over performance. Choose the friend at your table over the stranger on your feed. Because in the end, when the lights dim and your phone dies, it won't be your follower count that consoles you. It will be the few, the true, the ones whose hands you held in silence and whose souls you touched with your presence. Part 5. Anxiety on Demand. Why your phone keeps you restless. Have you ever noticed how your phone can make you anxious even before you unlock it? It sits there on the table, buzzing, glowing, vibrating. You don't know what's inside. An email from your boss, a breaking news alert, a message from a friend, or just spam. But your chest tightens anyway. You feel that low hum of anticipation, the unease of waiting for something, anything, to happen. Seneca warned us about this very feeling long before the smartphone existed. He said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The phone is proof of this. Most notifications don't contain real emergencies, but our minds treat every buzz as if it were a crisis. We rehearse disasters in our imagination, and in doing so, we live in a state of constant anxiety. Take Mark, a young lawyer. His phone pings 300 times a day. Slack, email, text, social media. Each ping jolts his body, pulling his attention into tiny fragments. He tries to work, but his heart is never still. He's always waiting for the next interruption, the next demand. At night, he collapses into bed exhausted, not because his day was full of battles, but because it was full of alerts. This is what I call anxiety on demand. Smartphones have become portable anxiety machines, and it's not an accident. The tech industry knows that fear and urgency keep you hooked. That's why notifications are red. Your brain associates red with danger. That's why you can't predict when the next ping will come. Randomness makes the addiction stronger. The Stoics would call this slavery of the mind. Epictetus wrote, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The ping itself is neutral, but our judgment, that every notification must be checked immediately, disturbs our peace." So what's the cost of this constant restlessness? Psychologists now tell us it erodes focus, damages sleep, raises stress hormones, and lowers well-being. But the Stoics would point to something deeper. It prevents you from living in accordance with reason. Instead of choosing your thoughts, you're reacting to impulses. Instead of ruling your mind, you're ruled by a device. Here's the paradox. You think you own your phone, But if it can summon you at any hour, control your mood with a sound, dictate your focus with a buzz, who owns whom Seneca wrote, life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Isn't that exactly what the smartphone does? It fills you with regrets when you compare, distracts you from the present with endless feeds, and injects fear of missing out into your vision of the future. Let's get practical. How do we break free from this cycle of anxiety on demand? Step 1. Silence the false alarms. Turn off non-essential notifications. Not everything deserves the power to jolt your nervous system. Ask yourself, do I really need to know this instantly? Chances are, the answer is no. Step 2. Schedule intentional check-ins. Instead of letting your phone call you, you call it. Decide, I'll check email at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. I'll look at messages after lunch, not during deep work. The Stoics taught us to live deliberately. This is how you apply it to your digital life. Step 3. Practice digital stillness. Once a day, leave your phone in another room for 30 minutes. Let your nervous system relearn what silence feels like. At first, you'll twitch, itch, and fidget. But soon, you'll rediscover something you've been missing: stillness. Take Mark again, the anxious lawyer. He finally set his phone to Do Not Disturb for 2 hours each morning. At first, he panicked. What if he missed something important? But after a week, he noticed his anxiety drop. His work deepened. His mornings became calmer. And the shocking truth: nothing urgent happened. The world didn't collapse because he wasn't instantly available. Marcus Aurelius would smile at this experiment. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What is a notification but an outside event? And what is your choice to ignore it but an act of inner strength? Here's a deeper challenge for you. The next time your phone buzzes, don't check it immediately. Pause, breathe, count to 10. Remind yourself, I am not a dog responding to a bell. I am a human being with reason. Every time you delay, you reclaim a little piece of your freedom. This is the heart of Stoicism applied to smartphones, learning to distinguish between what is in your control and what is not. You can't control when the phone buzzes, but you can control your response. You can choose whether to let it own your peace or whether to stay anchored in calm. Let's face it, the modern world will not stop sending alerts. There will always be more pings, more news, more noise. But the Stoics remind us that peace is not found by escaping the world. It's found by mastering our response to it. So here's your 5th Stoic rule. Refuse to be ruled by anxiety on demand. Notifications are not commands. Your peace is yours to guard. The next time your phone vibrates in your pocket, remember Seneca's wisdom. There is nothing the busy man is less busied with than living. Don't let busyness, or the illusion of urgency, rob you of life itself. Part 6. The Death of Focus. Why smartphones destroy deep work. There's a quiet tragedy unfolding every day in coffee shops, classrooms, and offices. People sit down with big dreams to write a book, to study for an exam, to build a business, to create something lasting. They open their laptop, full of ambition. Then, ping, a message, buzz, a notification, a glance at the phone that will only take a second. An hour later, the dream is buried under a pile of distractions. Seneca warned about this long ago. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. The man or woman who dabbles in everything touches nothing deeply. And isn't that exactly what the smartphone does to us? It pulls our attention into 1,000 fragments, scattering us until we are nowhere at all. Take David. He's a young software engineer. He wants to design his own app on the side, something meaningful. But every evening, instead of working deeply, he finds himself bouncing between emails, Instagram, and random YouTube clips. He tells himself he's multitasking, but in truth, he's not creating anything. He's consuming endlessly. Months pass. The app never gets built. Not because he lacked talent, but because his focus was stolen, piece by piece. Psychologists have a name for this attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, even just glance at your phone, your brain leaves part of its focus behind. It's like pouring water into 10 different cups. No cup ever fills. No task gets your full strength. And so you live on the surface, never plunging into the deep waters where mastery is born. The Stoics would be appalled. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. In other words, if you want true growth, you must be willing to look strange in a world addicted to distraction. You must choose depth over noise. Let's pause here. Think about the most meaningful things in your life. The book that shaped you, the friendship that transformed you, the skill you're proud of. Did any of them come from shallow focus? No. They all required immersion, attention, consistency. Focus is the soil where greatness grows. Without it, nothing takes root. And yet, smartphones are designed to uproot your focus. Every buzz rips you from deep work and throws you back into the shallows. Every scroll gives you the illusion of doing something, while, in reality, you're drifting. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Apply this to your phone. The phone is external. Its notifications are external. Your distress, your broken focus, comes not from the phone itself, but from your choice to treat every interruption as urgent. Change the choice, and you change your life. So how do we reclaim our focus? How do we revive deep work in an age of constant distraction? Step 1. Create sacred hours. Pick one block of time each day where you are unreachable. Put your phone in another room. Guard this time like a fortress. This is where you do the work that truly matters. Whether it's writing, studying, building, or thinking, this is your temple of focus. Step 2. Train single tasking. Modern culture glorifies multitasking, but the Stoics remind us virtue lies in doing one thing well, not many things poorly. Practice finishing what you start. If you read, just read. If you work, just work. If you eat, just eat. Bring your whole self to the task. Step 3. Use your phone with intention. Seneca said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Apply that here. Before you unlock your phone, ask, what is my purpose? If you can't name one, don't unlock it. Don't surrender focus without cause. Back to David, the young engineer. After months of drifting, he set a new rule. No phone in the first 2 hours after work. Instead, he sat down with his laptop and devoted himself entirely to building his app. At first, it was hard. His brain twitched. craving the scroll. But after a few weeks, something shifted. The work became easier, the focus returned, and slowly, the app began to take shape. He realized he wasn't talentless. He was simply unfocused. This is the Stoic truth. Focus is not a gift. It's a discipline. It's a muscle you train by resisting distractions, by saying no to the trivial, by choosing depth over breadth. And every time you practice, you become freer. Seneca would remind us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. How much of your life is wasted in fragments? 10 seconds here, 30 seconds there, scrolling, glancing, checking. Imagine reclaiming those fragments and weaving them into deep, unbroken hours. Imagine what you could build, who you could become. So here's your 6th Stoic rule. Protect your focus. Without it, your potential dies in fragments. With it, you can shape destiny. The next time your phone buzzes in the middle of deep work, remember, greatness doesn't come in pings. It comes in silence, in stillness, in focus. Part 7. Digital Overload. Why more information makes you less wise. There's a strange paradox in our age. We live in a time when almost the entire knowledge of human history fits in the palm of our hand. With a single tap, you can read Plato, check the news, learn a new skill, or scroll through thousands of opinions. We are drowning in information, and yet, how many of us feel wiser because of it? Seneca saw this problem long before Wi-Fi and smartphones. He warned you must linger among a limited number of master thinkers and digest their works, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind. In other words, wisdom doesn't come from consuming more. It comes from digesting deeply. But today, instead of lingering, we skim. Instead of digesting, we scroll. We consume headlines, sound bites, tweets, and half-baked takes. And the result? Overloaded minds, shallow understanding, restless souls. Take Alex, a college student. He subscribes to dozens of news alerts, follows hundreds of creators, and scrolls endlessly to stay informed. But the more he consumes, the more anxious he feels. He knows a little about everything, but not enough about anything. He's overloaded, but underdeveloped. Psychologists now talk about information fatigue syndrome. The symptoms are clear difficulty focusing, poor memory, shallow conversations, and constant anxiety. Sound familiar? It's not because information is bad, but because too much unfiltered information floods the brain until it drowns clarity. The Stoics would shake their heads. Marcus Aurelius, who governed the Roman Empire, wrote in Meditations, if you seek tranquility, do less, or more accurately, do what's essential. If an emperor with armies, politics, and crises could filter what deserved his attention, why can't we? The truth is, our overload isn't caused by necessity. It's caused by lack of discipline. Smartphones amplify this weakness. News apps scream that every update is urgent. Social feeds flood you with endless opinions. Videos autoplay, one after another, until hours disappear. But ask yourself how much of it matters to your life. How much of it helps you live better? Think clearer. Act wiser. Seneca had a blunt answer for this. What's the point of having countless books and libraries, whose titles the owner can scarcely read through in his lifetime? The abundance of books only makes men less studious. He wasn't against knowledge. He was against hoarding knowledge without digesting it. against mistaking more for better. Think of it this way. Imagine eating all day, every day, snacks, sweets, fast food, without stopping. Would your body grow stronger? No, it would grow weaker, bloated, sick. That's what smartphones do to your mind when you consume nonstop information. It's mental junk food. And the cure is not more food. It's better food, thoughtfully chosen and slowly digested. So what's the Stoic strategy for surviving digital overload? Step 1, cure it ruthlessly. Seneca would tell us, choose your teachers carefully. In modern terms, unfollow, unsubscribe, silence the noise. Keep only the sources that truly nourish your mind. 10 wise voices are better than 1,000 shallow ones. Step 2. Practice slow reading. Instead of skimming endless articles, choose one meaningful book or essay and linger on it. Take notes, reflect, apply. As Seneca said, nothing is ours, except time. Spending time with fewer but deeper texts is the path to wisdom. Step 3. Ask, does this make me better every time you pick up your phone to consume content? Pause. Will this make me wiser, calmer, more virtuous? If not, it's clutter. The Stoics remind us clutter is not neutral. It corrodes the soul. Back to Alex, the overwhelmed student. He finally made a change. He deleted half his subscriptions, stopped checking news 20 times a day, and picked one book to read slowly each month. At first, he felt out of the loop, but soon, he noticed something surprising. His mind grew calmer. His conversations grew deeper. His confidence grew stronger. He realized he didn't need to know everything. He needed to know what truly mattered. And here's a key truth the Stoics would insist on: wisdom isn't about knowing many things. It's about living rightly with the things you know. Knowledge that doesn't improve your life is trivia, but knowledge that shapes your actions, that's wisdom. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, not the quantity. The quality. Your smartphone will always tempt you with more, but Stoicism calls you to less, but better. So here's your 7th Stoic rule. Don't drown in information. Seek wisdom. The goal is not to know more things, but to know the right things and live by them. The next time your thumb hovers over that scroll, ask yourself, am I feeding my mind or just stuffing it? And remember Seneca's advice. The abundance of books only distracts the reader. In today's terms, the abundance of feeds only distracts the soul. Choose depth over noise. Choose wisdom over overload. Part 8. Living on autopilot. How smartphones steal your presence. Imagine walking through a park on a sunny afternoon. The air is crisp. The leaves sway gently in the breeze. A child's laughter echoes from the playground. But your eyes are down, glued to a glowing screen. You're physically there, but mentally absent. Later, when someone asks, "How was your walk?" you realize you barely noticed it. That's the tragedy of autopilot living. And in our time, smartphones are its greatest accomplice. Seneca once wrote, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." He wasn't talking about scrolling, but he might as well have been. Every moment lost to your phone is a postponed life. A walk you didn't see, a meal you didn't taste, a conversation you didn't hear. And the greatest danger, you don't even realize it's happening until years have slipped away. Take Lily, a young mother. Every evening she tries to spend time with her daughter, but her phone keeps buzzing. Emails from work, texts from friends, Social updates. She tells herself, I'll just check quickly. But quickly becomes minutes, then half an hour. Her daughter tugs at her sleeve. Mom, are you listening? And Lily's heart sinks. Because the truth is, she wasn't. She was on autopilot, drifting between two worlds, present in neither. The Stoics saw presence as the core of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily, confine yourself to the present. He knew the mind's tendency to wander into past regrets or future worries. But smartphones don't just pull us into past and future. They pull us out of the present altogether. They scatter our awareness into endless feeds, leaving us numb to what's right in front of us. Psychologists now call this absent presence. You're physically there, but mentally elsewhere. And here's the cruel twist. Autopilot doesn't feel like absence. It feels like busyness, like being up to date. But when the moment passes, you realize you weren't really there. Seneca would call this the ultimate poverty. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Life isn't stolen all at once. It's stolen in fragments. 10 seconds checking a text, 30 seconds scrolling, 5 minutes watching a clip. Each moment seems harmless, but together they add up to years of unlived life. So what's the Stoic solution? How do we escape autopilot and reclaim presence? Step 1. Practice mindful pauses. The next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone out of habit, stop. Ask, what am I about to miss in this moment? Maybe it's the sound of birds. Maybe it's the face of someone you love. Bring your attention back, even for a breath. That breath is life reclaimed. Step 2. Create phone-free rituals. The Stoics loved rituals, morning meditations, evening reflections. Do the same with your phone. Make meals sacred, no devices at the table. Make mornings intentional. Don't check your phone in the first hour. These small boundaries anchor you in presence. Step 3. Journal your time. At the end of the day, write, where was I most present? Where was I absent? This is the Stoic practice of self-examination. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll catch the moments autopilot steals from you, and with awareness comes choice. Back to Lily, the mother. One evening, she left her phone in another room during dinner. At first, she twitched with anxiety. What if she missed something important? But then she noticed something she hadn't in a long time. Her daughter's stories, her laughter, her tiny expressions. The meal became richer, not because the food changed, but because she was finally present. This is the miracle smartphones hide from us. Life doesn't need filters or highlights to be beautiful. It needs presence. The Stoics knew this deeply. Epictetus told his students, do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of. He wasn't speaking in metaphors. He meant literally every second wasted is life itself, gone. And yet, here's the hope. Presence isn't something lost forever. It can be reclaimed in an instant. Right now, if you put your phone down and take one deep breath, you've already stepped off autopilot. That's the power of awareness. It only takes a moment to return. So, refuse to live on autopilot. Presence is life. Without it, you exist but do not live. The next time you catch yourself lost in a scroll, remember Seneca's words, while we are postponing, life speeds by. Don't postpone your life for pixels. Don't trade your child's laugh your partner's smile, the sunset outside your window, for the cold glow of a screen. Be here, now, because this moment will never come again. Part 9. The Stoic Smartphone Code. How to master the tool without being mastered. Let's be honest. We're not throwing our phones into the ocean. They're here to stay. And, truthfully, they're not evil. They're tools. A smartphone can connect you with loved ones, teach you skills, guide you on a trip, even let you listen to Stoic philosophy in your earbuds while you walk. The danger isn't the tool itself. The danger is forgetting it's a tool and letting it become your master. Seneca warned us slavery resides, not in the ownership of the body, but in the servitude of the soul. Think about that. You can be free outwardly, but enslaved inwardly. Today, that slavery often looks like this: a buzzing phone, a compulsive glance, a restless mind that can't sit still without a screen. But the Stoics never left us without a solution. Their whole philosophy was a toolkit for freedom, a way to live with clarity, dignity, and mastery. So what would a Stoic smartphone code look like? Let's build it. Rule 1. Own your attention, or someone else will. Every notification, every algorithm is designed to hijack your focus. The Stoic asks, is this within my control? The answer: yes. Turn off alerts. Guard your focus. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Start acting like it. Rule 2. Use your phone. Don't serve it. Epictetus told his students, no man is free who is a slave to his body. Today, we might say no one is free who is a slave to their phone. Before you unlock the screen, ask, am I using this for a purpose, or am I serving its pull? Rule 3. Seek depth, not noise. Seneca wrote, abundance of books only distracts the reader. He'd say the same of feeds. Don't confuse more information with more wisdom. Curate your digital diet. Choose fewer, deeper sources. Rule 4. Prioritize presence. Marcus reminded himself. Confine yourself to the present. Phones tempt us into absent presence. Half here, half there. Draw boundaries. Meals, mornings, evenings. Make them phone-free. Let real life breathe again. Rule 5. Train voluntary discomfort. Seneca practiced going without luxuries to build strength. Do the same with your phone. Leave it behind for an hour. Take walks without it. Feel the itch, then master it. Freedom is built in these small acts. Rule 6. Replace envy with gratitude. Social media fuels comparison. The Stoic remedy is gratitude. As Marcus said, do not indulge in dreams of what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess. Let every scroll remind you of your own wealth, not your lack. Rule 7. Stop living on autopilot. Life is short. Seneca reminded us. Don't let it pass in fragments of scrolling. Ask yourself, am I here? Now. If the answer is no, put the phone down. Return to the present. This code isn't about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming your sovereignty. It's about reminding yourself that you are the master of your time, your attention, your soul. Take Daniel, the aspiring writer from earlier. For years, his novel was just a dream buried under notifications. But when he began following his Stoic smartphone code, guarding mornings for deep work, silencing alerts, practicing gratitude, something shifted. The novel began to take shape. His focus deepened. He realized it wasn't talent he lacked. It was mastery of his tools. Or think of Lily, the mother distracted at dinner. By following her code, phone-free meals, presents-first rituals, she began to reclaim evenings with her daughter. She saw her child's face again, not through the blur of multitasking, but with full presence. That's not just discipline, that's love in action. This is what Seneca, Marcus, and Epictetus would want for us. Not to smash our devices, but to use them wisely. To live deliberately in a world that profits from our distraction. To remember that technology should serve virtue, not erode it. Marcus Aurelius left us with the perfect closing reminder. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Translated for today, waste no more time arguing whether phones are good or bad. Live rightly with them. Build your code. Practice it daily. Be the master, not the slave. The final Stoic rule. Remember, you could leave life. Right now. Marcus whispered this to himself. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If you could leave life right now, would you want your last hour to be spent scrolling endlessly, envying strangers, jumping at every ping, or would you want it spent present, with your loved ones, with your purpose, with your soul at peace? Your smartphone is powerful, but you are more powerful. Choose wisely. So, here we are. We've walked together through Seneca's wisdom, Marcus's reminders, Epictetus's discipline. We've seen how your smartphone, this small device in your pocket, can quietly drain your life if you let it. But we've also seen how Stoicism hands us the tools to take back control. Maybe tonight you feel a little lighter. Maybe you're seeing your phone not as an enemy, but as a tool that must serve you, not enslave you. That's the Stoic way to live with intention, to choose wisely, to guard what is most precious, your time, your focus, your presence. Take a breath now, feel it in your chest. Remind yourself this moment is mine. No notification owns it. No feed defines it. It belongs to you. And what you choose to do with it shapes the quality of your life. Seneca's voice echoes. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Tonight, decide not to waste it. Tomorrow morning, decide not to postpone your life for pixels. Choose presence. Choose gratitude. Choose mastery. And if you stumble, that's fine. The Stoics never demanded perfection. They asked only that we return, again and again, to what matters most. Presence, virtue, reason. So as we close, I invite you, let's walk this path together. Let's keep reminding each other of what's real, what's worthy, what's within our control. And if you've found value in this journey tonight, then before you put your phone away, consider subscribing, not out of habit, not out of distraction, but as a conscious choice, a choice to keep this practice alive. Now, dim the lights, put the phone down, and live. Good night, sweet dreams.